r/offmychest. Acceptable Fly 7976 says, I'm slowly becoming racist. Please don't read. If sensitive to this topic, this is extremely ed up and am aware and here to take all the smoke. I won't say it's hate, but more so fear. I live in a really diverse city and I grew up with lots of diversity, so racism never was something I felt. But I got raped last month and the guy was black and the woman who was with me was black, and she knew what happened and didn't do anything about it. Her family found out and don't care. In my city I've been having a lot of direct issues with black people, like them being extremely rude to me and making rude comments about my appearance when I've been nothing but nice to them, and they make threats and want to hurt me etc. I have a thing against Middle Eastern and Southeast men, specifically from India, because my ex was Indian and I've never felt like being so disrespected by a man for being a woman in my life. It's unfortunate I feel this way. I don't want to feel this way and am a big believer to never judge and judge a person's soul, but after what's been happening to me it's hard to see, but I have no other way to feel. I'm sorry. Somebody knock some sense into me. Tobatha Queen 01 says, I want to start by saying that I'm truly sorry for what you went through. As a black woman, I can relate. I very recently noticed myself developing certain biases, and I'm working on challenging them. I was sad by a Hispanic male and another time by a white male, multiple, and living in an area that's mostly Hispanic, I started to feel surrounded, almost overwhelmed. When you're in a town with very little diversity, it's easy to start comparing yourself to the dominant group and feeling resentment. I had to remind myself that not everyone from any race is the same. I started asking myself if I was judging people as individuals or as part of a larger group. I realized it was wrong to generalize, even if certain behaviors seem more visible online or feel heightened when you're around a particular community all the time. At the end of the day, people are individuals, and while certain patterns may seem common, they're universal. Everyone from any race does it. We all have different personalities, and judging someone straight off the bat because of the race isn't fair to them. You are not hated for thinking how you think. If a person went through what you went through, they would think the same, I'm sure, but it's up to you to change how you feel, and it might take time and therapy. Strickerlight 72 says, it's so easy to slip into generalizations, especially after tough experiences. Our minds naturally look for patterns, even if they are not always fair or accurate. But staying mindful and questioning those thoughts can help us see people as individuals rather than labels. It's a process for sure, but recognizing it is already a huge step. Sugafat says, this was such a compassionate response. I'm so sorry about what happened to you too. Sorayapede says, the pain and fear you experienced is valid, but you should look at these things as isolated incidents or types of people with evil will, and not as racial stereotypes. Men can be so evil regardless of race. Women can be too. Sorry that happened to you. It isn't fair that these experiences are a reflection of whole races though. Therapy is your best option. r/offmychest. Throwaway Tropical says, I just spent $200 on a game I have no interest on. I have never spent so much money on a single video game. I'm usually good at resisting impulsive buying, but today some stuff happened and I was feeling horrible. I booted up a game. Yes, it's a gacha. The name is unimportant, and first I made a $5 purchase, then $10. And so on, and before I came back to my senses I had spent about $200. I honestly feel really bad right now. It's the beginning of the month, and I spent a huge amount of money which I don't exactly have in excess of. I'm a college student. I just wanted to vent, because there is no way I'm telling anyone this. Be careful with in-game purchases. When you are vulnerable, no one is immune. Pears for Dinner says, it happened to me once too. $150 down the drain for nothing, because I wasn't feeling very good that day. Dirt Stillink says, the dopamine hit will hit hard. Some games are designed for that very purpose. Try to make it difficult to make online purchases. That's what helped me break it. Don't save payment information. Keep your card somewhere else, so you have to get up and take that walk while reconsidering the purchase. These things happen. You will recover. Good job catching it at $200. Fijin says, frickin' SimCity app for me. Spent more money on that than I'm willing to admit, even to internet strangers lol. Snitowl says, unethical advice, but you could request a refund through the app store and most of the time you will get a refund. Entirely of Cheese says, it can happen. By you confronting the error in this way you're unlikely to do it again though. Badgewimp says, gotcha. r/offmychest. Margaret Shock says, so frick, I'm devastated. I feel like I've been stabbed over and over. I broke up with my ex earlier this month because he caught feelings for his friend. We were together for 2 years. Now, not even a full month later, he's with her and hard launched her on his Insta, saying that he's glad fate brought them together and that he loves her. I'm so gutted. I feel like he threw me away. Haley B says, did I write this? I'm in the same boat, except he isn't doing it on Insta. Our neighborhood is pretty close-knit, and he bought a house in my neighborhood after we broke up. Now, his very distinctive car is constantly parked in her driveway as a glaring statement to the whole world that they are an item now. It hurts, but I keep telling myself that he 100% traded down and that I don't need his chaotic energy mucking up my home. I'm sorry this happened to you, but I want to say I am so proud of you for how you handled it. Nobody deserves to be treated like an afterthought in their relationship. Hugs from a rando on the internet. Stay strong. We will get through this. Margaret Shock says, I'm so sorry, oh my god. I at least have the benefit of a lot of separation. We were long distance. I can't imagine being in the same damn neighborhood. But period girl. Sending love your way. Dear Parsnip 6802 says, block them on social media so you don't have to watch it. Limaborn 79 says, what's his ig? IV5 says, we ride at dawn. Bidsidalamp 99 says, I know how you feel. My ex and I were together for 5 years. He started talking again to his old childhood friend who he knew had a crush on him. Anyways, they started seeing each other behind my back and they ended up dating for a year after we broke up. She kept posting on IG and FB that they were meant to be if the universe brought them back together blah blah blah. After they broke up he started messaging me again saying she wasn't anything like I was. He missed me. He couldn't bring himself to say that he loved her because he didn't. She stole his stepdad's medical marijuana and sold it, even though it's legal here in Canada. IDK. Well, 4 years later, and he is way in my past, and I'm here with my husband, our first daughter, and expecting our second next summer. I promise to you, it will get better. It may seem like forever, but you will be better, and look back, and wonder why you even were feeling that way. r/offmychest. Throw opposite fail says, my parents' sex life ruined the way I look at relationships and intimacy, but everyone told me I have no right to blame them. I don't think my parents ever cared that their kids could hear their night activities. And this wasn't just once or twice thing, this happened constantly. They'd send me and my sister to bed and go at it while we weren't even in our pajamas yet, let alone asleep. We had no phones as kids that young, so we just had to stare at the ceiling and pretend we weren't hearing anything. We caught them accidentally so many times because for some reason they also did it in beds. Me and my sister slept as kids in our room. We would later just change the sheets in silence. on vacations or any occasions where we had to share one room or even one bed, they still did it with me and a couple inches away from them. We just had to pretend we were asleep. One evening, when she was around 6, I was around 8, we snuck out of the house in our pajamas because our grandmother used to live couple minutes away. We told her we can't sleep because our parents were doing it and we were uncomfortable. She called them to pick us up, which led to punishment and them and some family members telling us how it's embarrassing to say something like that and how we'll understand when we are older and we start doing that too. One summer they sent us to get ice cream at 2 p.m. and locked us out of the house in over 40 degrees Celsius. We tried to go inside at least 3 times, thinking they also left somewhere, until I looked through the mail slot, which showed the living room and them doing it on the couch. I took my sister to the playground pretending I didn't see anything. We both got sunburn and fever from being in that heat for too long. I tried to say something multiple times throughout the years, but I was always met with same answers. You will understand, when you grow up, it's their house, they can do whatever they want, etc. Maybe it is, but I still think that it was, frick, ed up. I'm in my 20s now. Both me and my sister moved out couple years ago. We have a distant relationship with them. Neither of us really talked about that ever. We have mutual friends, so when drunk sex talks came up when we were younger, her only answer was that she's disgusted by it, so I'm assuming she feels the same. She never had a partner or a relationship, and she doesn't really wanna talk about it, so I don't ask. I had some short relationships which didn't last, because it's hard to find someone who can be in one without sex. I never felt close enough with anyone to tell them the reason why I'm not that into it. I may never have a romantic partner in my life, but honestly I feel fine or indifferent towards it. I don't really feel a need for one. Maybe I'm too dramatic and maybe I need to grow up, but I'll never think your kid should hear you that often, or be in the same room or bed while you do it. I often feel guilty about this, because they weren't bad parents when they weren't busy with each other. But once again, I don't think hearing them 99% of the time and catching them constantly should have happened. Few improvement 6357 says. That is really traumatic. It sucks that every adult in your life failed you. It should not have been like that. It isn't normal. I don't have experience with this, but I think therapy is necessary. When looking for relationships, you can tell people that you are asexual. There are asexual couples. I hope that you can heal. Murmura says. This is cut and clear sexual abuse. You need therapy. I'm sorry. Rondo Rock 9608 says. As a parent with a sleepwalking child who has been busted at 2 a.m., what you went through is gross and I'm sorry. It can be hard as a parent to find times for intimacy with your partner, and the odd being caught is unexpected. However, to subject children to this purposefully and with disregard for their own agency and consent borders on abuse. Recalita says. I've read teenagers posting that they were traumatized by once accidentally hearing their parents, who were clearly trying to be quiet, and kind of rolled my eyes. It's not easy trying to have a healthy marriage with kids, and especially teens who are often up way later than you are. I would be probably at least as traumatized as my kid if I was walked in on. But this is super messed up. Your parents are messed up. I think therapy is in order. I'm really sorry that you've been subjected to that. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.